A very good morning, a very good cold morning to you all. We're about to experience some pretty heavy snow this week, and the cold front that's coming in from the east, which is basically Siberia, I think, as far as I know anyway, what's been said on the weather forecast. That cold front is going to bring snow with it, and conditions are now right for the kind of perfect storm. So they're talking on the radio now, the government's talking about issuing a red status warning for the country. And so we'll see how it goes anyway. I'm not going to be losing the run of myself anytime soon. I just take each day as it comes, and I'm out here working. I've been out here working this morning, and I must say, because I'm wrapped up warm, it's brilliant. My hands are cold, but the rest of me is warm. But then you know the old saying here in Ireland, cold hands, warm heart. So I should take you on a little bit of a ramble. We'll go on a ramble. Now, all this little hedging that I put along here has really taken, and you know what that was? Literally just wee cuttings from the mother plant over there, and just stuck into the ground. So I think what I might do before the snow comes is give that a wee sort of a prune, give it a wee bit of a prune, and it'll thicken up. So I'm delighted with that. New pathways, of course. And I've been clearing, and well, not so much clearing as just cutting brambles back. And you can see over there, all those green shoots coming up are all bluebells. So there's a little bluebell wood emerging on the edge of my land, which is lovely. Take a wee look at these trees here. These are, except for that dark one there, these are all lime trees. I think the Latin name is Tilla cordata. Tilla cordata, I think so, anyway. This one here has grown twice the size, twice the girth as the other ones. And you can see, of course, where there are little pockets of good soil. This is what's happened. So, going along here, towards the stone circle. Now, I've cut back a lot of the willow here, so it's all looking a bit sparse. But at the same time, when you take a long view, when you take an overview, you can see a good strong shape emerging here. And this is what happens in woodland. You know, when you're trying to coax the woodland into being, a lot of the pioneer species, primarily the willow in this case here, gets to a stage where you have to start cutting that back. Jack? Just want to keep him with me. Oh, you're a very excited boy today. So, and you can see here, I'll just pull back, because this is just indicative of how the willow grows. So I made this little arch, which I took out most of it yesterday. No, sorry, the day before. But you can see the willow that I planted out from the arch to grow into it, that started to break away, and I just let that go. And you can see it's good strong willow there. So that's good coppicing and logging material. These make beautiful little logs, and when they're seasoned out, they burn beautifully on the log stove, on the wood stove. So looking along here, again I had like a willow fedge going along here, if any of you can remember, going up towards the stone circle. There was a willow fedge here on the left, and a couple of years ago I put bits of spirea in on the other side of the willow hedge, and in fact you can see just where I've cut the willow hedge out, you can see there and there just going up. And what I did, so I put the spirea in, knowing at one point the hedge would begin to die back because of the shade cast by the deciduous trees. So I was able to take that hedge out, and all of it's gone down into the chipper, so I'll be that's been chipped then for the compost toilets, because this is what I use on the compost toilets. So there's an absolutely closed loop system here. Nothing's imported for those toilets. And that spirea hedge, and you'll see it round about the end of May, it's going to be just beautiful. Now, there's some more of the willow that I took out, so that'll be going down to the chipper or the garden shredder, whatever one wants to call it. I'm inclined to call it a shredder. Then people think I'm talking about a paper shredder. Ah, oh, gosh, the language difficulties. And that isn't even touching on the dialect difficulties here in Ireland. Words that I use, you know, because I come from the north of Ireland, can sometimes be, you know, what? What is that word? What does that mean? Oh, there's a lovely bird up there. Oh, look at that, it's a magpie. Good morning, Mrs. Magpie. You've got to salute the magpie, you know. Now, and there's my little robin friend. Look, there he is, or there she is. Come down here. Oh, find a nice worm there. So, again, I've been cutting back lots and lots of the brambles. And, excuse me, Jack. Let me just come through here. So I'm just going to go up here onto this bank and then turn around, and you'll get a lovely view, a little lovely overview. Look at that, look at the colours there, the reds and the dogwoods. Don't know if you can see further out there the little yellow catkins on the hazel, the lovely green of the bamboo, the lovely lush green of that laurel archway, the blue of Kilronan Mountain, all the different colours of the willows. Look at this. Isn't it wonderful? So this is going to be looking quite beautiful, you know, when the snow comes. Apparently we're going to have heavy snow. But like I said before, I won't be losing the run of myself over that. I just plod along. Weather systems come and weather systems go, and it's about adapting. It's about adapting, keeping the owl head, don't be losing the head, and just getting on with things. Now, this is an area that I very rarely bring you to, but it's just the corner of my property, and you can see where I've cut down ash trees, and then they've just resprouted, and this is a fantastic way of keeping those ash trees going ad infinitum, because you see, here's an example. So this ash tree was cut down, or coppiced, because you don't really cut down an ash tree, you coppice it. If you take it down to, say, 3 or 4 or 5 foot away from the actual earth itself, then you end up with a beautiful coppice. And look at this, you've got this healthy ash tree just growing away. An ash tree, if looked after properly, can live for up to 2,500 years. Isn't that amazing? Now, and this is a wee, a lovely wee holly tree, which I shaped, I kind of pruned and shaped. I'll do a wee bit more pruning on that sometime before the summer. And that should grow nicely into a nice wee tree. These are all blackthorn. And blackthorn, I'll tell you, is what the shillelagh is made from. It's a hardwood. It's a hardwood. It's very dense. Now I'm slowly clearing, not the blackthorn itself, but kind of clearing this little area so as we can see the blackthorn properly, and I'll let it grow as little trees. And in there's some more bluebells coming up. So we'll go on down. You can see the tunnel here, a very unusual view of the tunnel. It's from the other side, and I'm going to be closing that up. And I'm glad really that I didn't cut back the spirea and the rhododendron, etc. along this bank, because I'm going to let that be now until the snow has passed. Buds out on the pear tree, but you know, the wee trees are all right. They'll come along in their own time. I'm hoping now that everything will survive well during this Siberian weather we are about to encounter. So now I'm definitely going to be clearing all the dead growth here in the lunacy garden. I'll get that sorted, hopefully before the snow comes, because of course once that snow comes it's going to be, well, they're saying it's going to be about 1 metre thick in some places, and maybe so, I don't know. But once the snow comes it'll be virtually impossible to do any gardening outside, though I should be able to get on with things here in the tunnel. So there's always places where one can work, little sheltered areas, even if it's just potting up. This is around the other side of the tunnel. This is where a few things have been kind of preciously dumped. Now I say dumped, you've got 2 toilets there. Well, and then there's compost heaps down there, and there's garden pots, and you know, so on and so forth. Everything here is what I would call clean, in that there's no damage being done to the soil or anything like that. And I've planted. You can see all this fuchsia, you can see the hebes and the spirea and the willow. I'm just going to focus in this camera because I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing, but a beautiful view of the rowan tree, the rebirthed rowan tree. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Do you know one of the wonderful things about technology is the fact that I can share what I see with you, and this will be uploaded in the next, well, I'm hoping about half an hour. So what I'll do is I'll walk through the tunnel. Oops, that's my watering can. Some wee pots of daffodils there that I'm hoping to put outside at some point. And there's my compost where I've been potting things up. And I've got some lovely little violas, or little miniature pansies, to pot up. And they can be used in salads. So, now, Jack! I've got to pick up this big piece of wood and bring it over to the barn for cutting. No, I'm not going down that way, sweetie. Come on. I'm just getting this. I don't know if I can carry this. Let me see. Oh! This is, here we go, look. This is blackthorn, you see. And it's, I cut that, well, I say it was last year, but it could have been the year before. But anyway, it's dried out nicely now because I stood it up against the tree. It had got a bit wet because it had been laid down. Oh, it's very, oh! Let me see if I can just bring it with me. Oh, yep, only just. There we go. I've sort of got it balanced on one hip. One thing about living this life, you know, which has been very beneficial, though I've always been quite a hardy girl, is that, you know the old saying, use it or lose it? Well, I've got muscles in places that other women of 62 lost decades ago. Let me just rest that a wee minute. Put it down there. Now that is a heavy old piece of wood, but it's going to make great logs and will be hugely appreciated in the coming days. Back up we go. Now, I've been clearing here, taking out the old trellis. So you can see the trellis that stood up there by the barn. Now, let me just see if I can get a better grip on this. And right, just put it down there for the moment. Catch my breath. I'll just go around this way now. We haven't finished just yet. So the chair has been moved. You know, the armchair that has to be taken to the recycling centre, that's been moved. And the sofa's been moved as well from the veranda of the lodge. Got my grandson Dominic to help me there. Dominic's a great big strapping young man. He'll be 20 this year. So he was partly raised here when he was a wee cub. That's another Northern Irish saying. You know, we call the wee fellas wee cubs. It's lovely really, isn't it? Because you get this beautiful impression of the mother as being the lioness. And you know how aggressively defensive those lionesses are. So the wee fellas are called cubs. And yeah, generally speaking, Irish men, no matter what side of the border they live on, are very close to their mothers. And the mothers are very defensive. I know I've always been very defensive of my son. Because I remember, it seems ridiculous now, but when he was just a baby and a toddler, you know, I'd always try to be very gentle with him and very loving with him, you know. And my husband used to say, oh, you'll have that lad soft in the head. You know, he came from Lancashire, Blackpool, Lancashire. And I don't really know what kind of an upbringing he had. But I was wise enough, even though I was 10 years younger than him, because I was 18 when I married, I was wise enough to be able to know and, you know, say to him at that point, you don't make a man soft by being loving with the boy child. In fact, the more loving you are with the boy child, with the little cub, the stronger the man is. And that's certainly been proved with my son. He's very strong and at the same time compassionate. See, strong men are compassionate, weak men aren't. that's my take on it. So now I'm going to go in and upload this and then come back out and get a bit of that wood logged up. And it's actually a beautiful day. It is very cold and my cheeks have got a lovely shade of pink. I've just looked in the mirror and so it can only be healthy. Jack, come over here and stop eating that bird food. He's got a big bowl of food, you know, on the porch. But he just has a penchant for bird food. Come on now, let's go in. So there we go. That's the reason there. Look why the trellis had to come down, because the posts had rotted. Come on, good boy. Now, so you can see some of the wee things have potted up. Look, that's called a Serbian spruce. It's very soft. Potted that up. And over here, look, I've potted up some thyme, some little primulas, some lavender. Tidied up all this, cut things back, so you can see all the work that's been done now. Right, on that note, Jack, come on, we'll go in. Oh, the warm air just sort of wraps you up as you come in. So there we go, it's 11:30. Now, I'm going to upload this and just to say, have a lovely day, have a wonderful week and blessings to you all.